Hey guys, it's me, Miss Mills, and welcome to Mrs. Mills' Math Time. The whole point of this video is to help you out with a worksheet called Checkpoint Slope. And what you're going to be doing on this worksheet is you're going to be using the slope formula to find slope of 2 points on a graph, and you're also going to find the slope on the graph. I'm going to be doing a few examples directly from the worksheet, so if you don't have that worksheet out, I do recommend getting it out now because, again, I'm going to be pulling examples directly from it. Um, I'm giving y'all this worksheet to do on Monday because this is something I want y'all to do, to know before we move on to what we're doing for the rest of the week. So this is your Monday assignment. I do recommend doing it before you attempt all of the other stuff that we do this week with proportional and non-proportional graphs because it's really important that you know how to get the slope of a graph before we move on to the next part. So again, I do want this done first. But let's go ahead and get started. So again, go ahead and go to number 1 if you haven't already. Let's go to number 1. So 1 through 10 on checkpoint slope worksheet, I can just show it to you real quick. We're going to have 2 points, and here they are. Each question is 2 points. We're going to use the slope formula to find the slope for this part right here. And then 11 through 20 is you have a graph and you have to find the slope. Here's the thing, the first step of finding the slope on a graph is to pick 2 points on that graph. Well, I made it easy for you and you already have points picked for you, so it'll make it a lot easier to read those graphs. I did that mostly because I understand that sometimes online it's a bit harder to see the lines and to see the points, especially when I have it on the Google slide. So I did give you those points. Also, I'm giving you this worksheet on a PDF file, so it's easier to read as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so again, let's go to number 1 real quick. Number 1 is 8 and negative 11. That's our first one. And then 14 and 18. All right, cool. So again, we're going to use the slope formula to figure out what the slope is. And the slope formula is, and this is super important, it's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I don't like that. Can I make this bigger? Maybe not. All right. So there's the slope formula. So what we have to do next is we have to label the points so we can put it into this formula real quick. So what I like to do again from a few weeks ago, I chose to make the first coordinate, the first ordered pairs to be my x1 and y1, and then I chose the second ordered pair coordinate that I saw to be x2 and y2. So that's what I do, and since that's what I like to do, I'm just going to do that here too. So this is the first ordered pair that I see. I'll make this x1 and y1, and since this one is the second one, I'll make this x2 and y2. And now that I have labeled all the points, I can put them into the slope formula and I can figure out the answer. So again, what we have first is y2, that's going to be 18. Go ahead and mark that out. That's going to be subtracted by y1, which is negative 11. Go ahead and mark that out. And then we have x2, which is 14. Mark that out. We're subtracting that by 8, and I can go ahead and mark that out. And once you have this, you just have to subtract across. So 18 minus negative 11 will be the same. When you have two negatives, it will turn into a positive. So if you have an 18 minus negative 11, this will turn into 18 plus 11. Okay, and 18 plus 11 is going to be 29. Okay, and then 14 minus 8 is going to be 6. This cannot be reduced. I'll move this real quick. This one cannot be reduced, so that's going to be our slope. That's going to be our answer. And when you're looking at it, let me erase this so this doesn't confuse you. That is an equal sign. Okay. Guys, whenever you're reading this, you can already know that this is going to be a positive slope because you are going to be rising 29 spots and then running 6 spots, and you'll be doing that consistently all throughout the line. So if you were reading the graph with this slope and you read the graph from left to right, it would be a positive slope. You would have a little man on the left-hand side and he would be going up a mountain. Okay? So this is our slope, so I'll go ahead and move on to number 4. Let's do number 4. All right, number 4 we have 6 and 7, and then we have 10 and 7. All right, cool. So again, we have our 2 points. Now we need to use the slope formula to figure out what the slope is. And the slope formula again is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Our next step is to label the points. Since this is the first ordered pair that I see, I will make that x1, terrible x, x1 and y1, and then x2 and y2. And once I've done that, I can put those into the slope formula and solve. So first one to go is y2 always, so that's going to be a 7. Go ahead and mark that out. We're going to be subtracting that by y1, which is again 7. And then it's going to be x2, which is going to be 10. Go ahead and mark that out. We're going to subtract that by x1, which is 6. All right, cool. So we the first one we have 7 minus 7, that's going to be 0. And then we're going to have 10 minus 6, which is going to be 4. Cool. 0 divided by 4 is going to be 0, okay? It's not undefined, and if you don't believe me, you can always check the calculator. 0 divided by anything will always equal to 0, okay? Do not confuse that for having something divided by 0, because that will always be undefined, okay? So make sure that that doesn't confuse you. When you have a 0 in the numerator, it will always be 0. And when you have a 0 slope, that is always going to be a horizontal slope, okay? All right, if you remember from drawing Slope Dude, if you ever had a straight line just like that, that's always going to be a 0 slope, which is a horizontal slope, and that is always going to have a slope of 0 divided by something. All right, just putting that out there. And I do want to do one more from 1 through 10, so I'm going to move on to number 8. All right, so number 8, we have -2 and 2, and then we have 0 and -18. All right, cool. Go ahead and put this in the slope formula, which is, I'm going to be purple, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, need to label the points. I'm going to make this x1, this y1, this x2, and y2. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to switch it up on you real quick, because you don't have to do it like that. I'm telling y'all that you don't have to do it this way. So instead, I'm going to make this x1 and y1, and I'm going to make this x2 and y2. I'm just going to show you real quick why it doesn't matter, because no matter which one you choose to be x1 and y1 or x2 and y2, you're going to come out with the same answer. So this time we're going to have 2 subtracted by -18. So I'll go ahead and mark those out. And then I have -2 minus 0. All right, cool. So 2 minus -18, again, 2 negatives make a positive, so that's the same as 2 plus 18, which will be 20. And then we have -2 minus 0, which is going to be -2. So our slope will be negative, but it's going to be, 20 divided by 2 is going to give us an answer of -10. So that's going to be our slope, which is the same as -10 over 1 as well. So when reducing 20 over -2, you'll get a -10 over 1 when you reduce that. So that's going to be our slope. I'm going to do this one again. I'm just showing you the same thing. Let me erase all this work real quick. All right, cool. So same thing, except I'm going to make this x1 and y1, x2 and y2, and I can go ahead and put these into the formula again. Again, the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, and then again, I can just solve it real quick. 18 minus 2 is going to be, did I do that wrong? Yeah, this is a -18 minus 2. Okay, good. All right, so -18 minus 2 is going to give you -20. and then 0 minus -2, which is the same as 0 plus 2, because two negatives equal a positive, is going to be a positive 2. So then there you go, same thing. -20 divided by 2 is going to be the same as -10/1. So our slope is going to be -10/1, or just -10. It's up to you. All right, cool. If y'all have any questions about the slope formula and how to find the slope using 2 points, make sure that you send me a message, or you can come to the live stream tomorrow if you have any questions about that. But let's go ahead and move on to number 12 real quick. I'm not going to be doing that on this iPad at all. We're just going to look at the graphs right here, and I'll just show you how to read the graph real quick and figure out what the slope is. So let's go to number 12 again real quick. So we're looking at number 12, and the slope is always going to be rise over run. So it's always going to be, we're going to try to figure out how we got from this point to this point, and each time you're going to use rise over run. So you're going to do vertical. Vertical is always going to be the numerator, and horizontal is always going to be the denominator. So from this point to this point, we rose 1, 2, 3, 4, -4 times, because we did go down, okay? So we did fall. So we fell 1, 2, 3, 4 times, so our numerator is going to be -4. And then once we get to this point, we need to get from this point to this point. And how we did that is we moved to the right 1 time, so that's going to be a positive 1. Okay? You always read your graphs from left to right, just like reading a book. So whenever you go to the denominator when you're running, you're always going to be moving from left to right as well. Okay, so we'll always be reading the graph from here to here. So again, we rose -4 times, we ran 1 time. -4 is our numerator, 1 is our denominator, so that's going to be our slope, and we're done. Let's go to number 16 real quick. Let's go to number 16. Here we are. Same thing. This will be a negative slope as well, because if we had a little man on the left-hand side of it, he would be falling down. So here's our first point. We rose -1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Again, no way. No, I didn't. All right, -4 times. And then once we got down here, we ran 1, 2 times. So our numerator is -4, our denominator is 2. That can be reduced. -4 over 2 is going to be the same as -2. So that's going to be our slope. And that's it, guys. That's really all it is. Again, if you have a horizontal slope like this, you're going to have a slope of 0. This is an example of a positive slope and fun stuff like that. If you have any questions about how to find the slope from a graph, make sure to ask me as well. But guys, that's it for this video. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I can't wait to see y'all again. See you later. Bye.